Have you ever picked a book out before because the illustrations are really good? I have too. This is a book I bought when I went to visit the tallgrass prairie in Oklahoma. And even though it was a children's book, I really wanted to have it because the illustrations were so good. The illustrations are done by a woman named Kathy Morrison, and the book is written by Marybeth Lorbiecki. It's called The Prairie That Nature Built. This is the prairie that nature built. These are the critters that worm and squirm, alive in the dirt so dark and thick, under the prairie that nature built. Some of these critters squirm so small, without a glass, you can't see them at all. But they are big eaters and builders too, making good earth from animal poo. When they say you can't see it with unless you have a glass, I wonder what that means. Without a glass, you can't see them at all. What kind of a glass makes it where something small is easy to see? A magnifying glass. These are the diggers with tunnels so steep, making soft burrows where prairie pups sleep, alongside the critters that worm and squirm, alive in the dirt, so dark and thick, under the prairie that nature built. Prairie dogs dig tunnels galore, lucky for owls, snakes, ferrets, and more. Ooh, this page is going the other way. I just love these illustrations. There's so much going on. These are the roots that plunge so deep, long and strong, holding water to keep, down past the burrows where the prairie pups sleep, alongside the critters that worm and squirm, alive in the dirt so dark and thick, under the prairie that nature built. Such long, strong roots can save the day when rain you want still stays away. These are the plants that shoot so high, seeking food from above the sunlit sky. Up from the roots that plunge so deep, down past the burrows where prairie pups sleep, alongside the critters that worm and squirm, alive in the dirt so dark and thick, under the prairie that nature built. The sky-reaching plants turn toward the sun, following the path of its east to west run. Look at all those flowers and animals. See that? These are the insects, so fragile and shy, that buzzing and whirring bring pollen by, and to all the plants that shoot for the sky, up from the roots that plunge so deep, down past the burrows where prairie pups sleep. Alongside the critters that worm and squirm, alive in the dirt so dark and thick, under the prairie that nature built. Some of the butterflies were from so far, they traveled from Mexico without a car. These are the birds that sing and fly, chomping the insects that bring pollen by. To all the plants that shoot for the sky, up from the roots that plunge so deep, some high-soaring birds, when looking to eat, find prairie dog meat a tasty treat. To this hawk, this prairie dog's like a hot dog. We have a lot of hawks in our neighborhood over by Bass Pro Shops. And we see these really big birds flying around a lot too. I don't know if they're golden eagles. They're huge. They're looking for small little animals. These are the grazers munching so mild on grasses and flowers, stomped and piled, under the birds that sing and fly, chomping the insects that bring pollen by, to all the plants that shoot for the sky. Up from the roots that plunge so deep, down past the burrows where prairie pups sleep, alongside the critters that worm and squirm, alive in the dirt so dark and thick under the prairie that nature built. The four-hoofed grazers like to mosey in herds and calmly chew grasses while groomed by birds. Groomed means when you comb someone's hair or you pick something off of them. These birds are picking ticks off and eating ticks and fleas off of an animal. That's doing something for the animal, and it's doing something for the bird. The animal, like a gazelle, or in our case, like a deer, won't have that tick on it anymore, and the bird will have food. They will get to eat that bug. It's called a symbiotic relationship. It means they both get something good. Some more animals. There's another carnivore who likes to go after meat, just like that hawk. These are the hunters so skillful and wild, preparing to pounce on the grazers so mild. Under dark clouds where thunder booms, for all in the prairie, danger looms. This is the lightning that sparks a fire, so red hot and swift it moves without tire, flaming the flowers and blazing the grasses, chasing the animals, rushing in masses. This is the rain that splatters the ground and quenches the fire that blazed all around. Months later, surprise! Quite out of the blue, out pop green stalks, all bright and brand new, painting the ashes with color and dew. The blazing fire that blackened the reeds fed the ground and burst out seeds. This is the one, when taking a walk, found a bloom upon a green stalk, who saw the lightning and felt the rain that killed the fire and calmed the plain, who heard the birds singing so high and smelled the flowers where insects flit by, and spotted the doggies ducking to hide in tunnels so steep, plunging past roots, stretching so deep, alongside the critters that worm and squirm, alive in the dirt so dark and thick under the prairie that nature built. And this is the prairie that grows so free, and this is the kid that loves it, me. Okay, this story has a relation to another story called The House That Jack Built. So for a little bit of extra credit, or if you want to do a little extra research, see if you can find the original poem or story, The House That Jack Built. I bet you could probably Google it. I hope you guys have a great long weekend. I hope that next week we can get on Edmonton and just get really rolling with actual schoolwork. Thank you for being patient with me. I am loving getting to know your kids and getting to know all of you guys by reading your stories and seeing your illustrations. We have so much in common. How many people love basketball and like soccer and love movies and TV? We just have so much in common. So have a wonderful long weekend. Bye.